Showtime. Showtime. Showtime.
Showtime. Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime. Showtime. Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime. Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime! Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers. Welcome back into the fastest show in sports. I am Ed Berliner. I am your host. I am the ringmaster. The gentleman with me, of course, is the resplendent in the perfectly orange for a tropical Friday, because everybody knows you have to wear a tropical shirt on a Friday, and the man who absolutely nailed it this week when he made sure that his cell phone is charged to 100%, so we don't have to worry about him dumping out of this show. My God, technology works, ladies and gentlemen, for Mike Wise.
Namaste, Ed.
Namaste? Very nice. That's what we ought to do. Maybe, you know, every sports show should have like a little namaste moment just before they begin, so that everybody's calm, everybody's okay, nobody's angry, because by the time of the show, we've got like 10 million people in the world who are all angry. Now, today's show is all about fear. That's right, fear.
Fear.
We have decided to dig into the fear of American sports fans, specifically one group of American sports fans. But we'll get to that as we go through the day, because, Mike, what is it in life that really frightens you? I mean, really scares you?
I think Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Wendy, honey, I'm not going to hurt you. Just give me the bat. I'm just going to bash your brains in, bash them right the No, so, I don't know. Something that scares me. Oh, gosh. Surprises. Have you ever gotten out of bed at late at night and you don't realize, and you either got to go to the restroom, and you don't realize that your spouse or significant other has gotten up before you. You think they're laying in bed next to you, and all of a sudden they walk out of the bathroom, and you're like, ah! You're like, oh my God, someone's in our house. You have no idea that the person walking out of the bathroom is really the person that was you thought was in bed. So
I don't get those, because we have dogs. So when we rise at any time, the dogs are like on the bed, they're on the floor, around, you know.
Yeah, or if you want to get me in the movie, man, if you want to get me in the movies, just have that moment where the woman or the guy is looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden they close the door, and the person is behind the mirror, in the background waiting for them. That always gets me.
When was the last time, just out of curiosity's sake then, because you mentioned The Shining, when was the last time in a movie theater, not watching it at home because it doesn't do the same thing, but that watching in a movie theater that you jumped, that you had one of those scares?
Oh, I can't even remember. I mean, you'd have to go back to, oh my goodness, it would be an Alien type of movie, or maybe what was the movie? Jordan Peele did. Get Out. That there was a couple moments in that movie where I saw it in the theater, and I was just like, Jesus, that got me.
I haven't seen that yet, and I've decided, I have.
Oh, it's tremendous.
But I will tell you this: at the time I jumped, and this goes back even farther, but you were right on there when you talked about science fiction. I saw the original Alien movie in widescreen in the theater. I was working for a radio station at the time, and we had freebie passes to go see the premiere. And it was one of the few big screens in the area. When that thing came out of his chest,
he's like,
it was one of the times. No, but it was that moment when the chest burster came out.
Yeah.
And it cracked through his chest, and there was blood everywhere. I absolutely remember I jumped. And I'm not usually scared of it. And an interesting thing about that, Ridley Scott, the director of Alien, did not tell the crew what was going to happen when he did that. So
Smart.
when you watch the movie and you see the blood spurt, Angela Cartwright plays one of the shipmates there. I think her name was Parker. I'm not sure. But when she was sprayed with the blood, that is a real reaction. She had no idea what was coming. And all of a sudden, she's covered in blood spurting out of this thing on the table. And it's brilliant.
I'm calling up that clip. After we get done with this, I'm calling up that clip.
Oh, you have to. You can, but wait a minute. Don't watch the clip. Go watch the movie again.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I saw it in the theater with my sister. I remember it. I was freaked out. I mean, Friday the 13th. Remember the original Friday the 13th?
I wasn't that scared by Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but the last scene where you think the movie's over, and the guy and somebody's fishing, and they're in the boat, and he's fishing.
Okay, I didn't. You know what? But now you're making me think. There was another scene that made me jump, and it was in the original movie Carrie. With Sissy Spacek at the end of the movie, and I don't care. It's not like there's spoilers here. The movie's 150 years old, so take it easy. But at the end of the movie, the girl goes to Carrie's grave to lay flowers on the grave, and boom, the hand comes up out of the boom. That's it.
Oh, that's right.
Hand comes up out of the earth. It's like everybody in the theater is right out of their chair. Yeah, it's just perfect. Anyway. All right.
That was good.
So let's get to it. Let's start on fear. This is Fear in Sports is the edition today on the fastest show in sports. And we begin with a loving couple. Two people who absolutely are enthralled with each other. Two brothers who absolutely have great affection for each other and great affection for the young lady involved. But this involves the beginning of absolute fear.
Guest today is a singer, songwriter, and producer and director from Nashville, Tennessee. That's bullshit. She is from Reading, Pennsylvania. She is the most awarded artist in the history of the American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and iHeart Radio Music Awards.
Yeah, damn.
She has 14 Grammy Awards and is the only artist in the history to win Album of the Year 4 times. Last December, she wrapped up the Eras Tour, which spanned 149 shows across 51 cities, 5 continents, and was the most attended tour of all time. I'm still going. Hold on. Her last album, The Torture Poets Department, set a record with 1.76 billion streams globally within the first week alone.
All right.
In the first week?
And as a fan of that guy on the Chiefs, she has 19 wins, 2 AFC titles, and a Super Bowl. 92%ers! Are you ready for it? Making her podcasting debut, the most aggressive guest in the history of shows, Taylor Swift!
That intro, Jason! Oh my God!
I've seen this before.
No,
He's
look,
about to
his
black
soul
out. Jason,
has left his
just breathe.
body.
I'm cramping. I'm cramping.
No, that was so good. Thank you.
I tried, Tay.
Thank you for screaming for like 47 seconds. That was so nice. That was so sweet.
Tay, welcome to New Heights.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on my favorite podcast. As we all know, you guys have a lot of male sports fans that listen to your podcast. And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
Taylor Swift is exactly right. There's nothing NFL fans want more than to see more of Taylor Swift. Damn it, Mike. We need more Taylor Swift, more Tay-Tay. But every damn time something like that comes out of the woodwork on social media, the fear, the fans who are all upset. We don't need more Tay-Tay. We don't need more Taylor Swift. We're unhappy. We don't need to see her on our screens. We don't need to see her in the skybox when Kelsey's playing. What the hell's wrong with you guys? What is so frightening? This is it. We begin our quest today, Mike, of fear in sports to try and psychologically unravel why so many males are fearful of Taylor Swift being seen at an NFL game. We have to dig into this deeply.
Well, it's less about Taylor than it is the producer in the TV truck yelling in the cameraman's ear, get her, Tay-Tay's you can see her, she's clear in the box, get her, she's right next to Brittany Mahomes, get her right now. And it's like, at some point you're like, is this the Eras Tour all over? I mean, we're watching a game, and so I don't have any problem with Tay-Tay. I'll tell you what, though, I am jealous about Jason Kelsey. Didn't he just steal my whole tractor pull bit? This Saturday, Dinky Daddy sold him his 400. Like, he took it, man, and I think he did it better than I did. So, at any rate, I hadn't seen that opening. That's funny.
Great.
It's just that it is pretty good. And you realize why their podcast has just a couple more few streamers than ours. One, they're two white guys that are younger, and two, they both had professional sports careers. And three, one of them is dating the number one pop artist of all time.
Yeah, but number four,
had Shannon been the number one pop artist of all time, and you had her on, oh my God, we'd take off.
I was working on it, but unfortunately, I don't believe she sings. That's the bad side of things. She might just a little bit. But I will say this much. At least one half of this duo here on the Fastest Show in Sports has better hair. But that's okay. We'll just leave it at that. It happens every time, though. There was, and again, I've become a social media animal when I'm crawling around trying to find what people are saying about certain things on all the different social media platforms. And again, it came out. People hammering, we don't need to see Taylor Swift. This is football. This is manly men doing manly things in a manly fashion. We don't need Taylor Swift. Mike, but it will happen again this season, where Kelsey will be playing. Something great will happen for the Chiefs. You'll get a camera shot of Taylor Swift in the stands, and it will light up again with, we don't need to see Taylor Swift. Don't you guys realize the National Football League is thrilled to death that Taylor Swift is in the stands and that she is dating one of their most notable players on a Super Bowl winning team. She is bringing young girls, moms, dads, people are coming to watch the game now just so they can say they see Taylor Swift. And she doesn't get involved in the game itself. It's just a shot. She's pretty, she's talented, she's got all this, and people still get pissed off about seeing Taylor Swift. I don't get it. It's got to be something to this whole macho nonsense that goes on where guys go, we don't need to see Taylor Swift. We're men, damn it, men.
I have a friend. Her name's Kylie Sitton. Used to work. She's one of the most digital brainiacs I've ever met. Went to the Arizona State University Cronkite School of Journalism. Brilliant young woman. She's like in her 20s. She was a Taylorophile. I mean, Lily had a Taylor Swift themed wedding. At some point, I was like, I don't even want to be friends with her anymore. And then I started listening to Tay-Tay's music, and it was pretty good. And it was cheesy, but it was really good. And I'll be honest with you, I put it on this morning for the kids when I got up, that song, Me. She's a pop artist. She's a godsend. And let's just be honest. And so I don't, I look at her like Stephen A. in a way, where...
What? Wait a minute. Stop. Hold on a sec. You just put Stephen A. Smith, the absolute worst thing that's ever happened to sports, televised broadcasting in the history of the planet. You put him in the same sentence as one of the most talented pop artists of all time? And she's attractive and she's talented? How can you do this, man?
Because they both realized one thing, and Stephen A. does have a talent. He knows how to polarize America. Tay-Tay has learned that whether people like her or hate her, they're talking about her. And that's the key to America right now, Ed. Right now, half the people in America that are watching this show right now are going, there's a bald guy who's intelligent. He's follically challenged. He hasn't met a comb he can part with, but damn it, he's smarter than the guy that with all the hair on the other end. And so but there's another player that, I'll take the guy with the hair on the other end. I don't care if he's not that brainy.
Wait a minute. When you said hair on the other end, you mean other end of the line, not other
right.
end. Okay. Well, we just had to make sure because some things will get edited and you got to make sure that you're absolutely particular when it comes to these things, all right?
But yeah, so I think there's some people that hate Tay-Tay that just like hating Tay-Tay. And they don't hate Tay-Tay necessarily as much as they hate people that like Tay-Tay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you've also got to admit that it is what I pointed this out to. This is the whole macho male bullshit that, oh, we don't need Taylor Swift. She's a pop artist. She's a female. We don't need women in our club. It's the He-Man Woman Haters Club. I mean, every time I hear somebody nail on Taylor Swift and they go, we don't want her here, we don't want her in our football, I think, wait a minute, you guys spent how much time looking at cheerleaders?
Yeah, not only that, I think there's a threat, and I think people need to embrace the threat, actually. It's that a powerful woman, a woman that's actually empowered, is making much more than her husband could ever dream. People look down on this. I think it's the dream. It's my living dream right now, actually,
Yes.
Ed. As I wait for my book to sell. My spouse is basically supporting our family. I'm doing daddy daycare. Do you think I'm out there trying to get a job? No, I'm living the life. I'm living the life, Ed.
It's what we want.
I mean, I'm literally about to start my own reality series. It's going to be like, Real House Husbands of Panama. And we're going to be like bitching about.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm writing this one down, man. Oh, yeah. We got to do this.
Yeah, Real House Husbands of Panama.
Husbands of Panama.
Yeah, and guys, I'll be getting mad at a guy named, Chip that stole my craft beer out of my refrigerator. That it's going to be great. It's going to be a good series.
Looking for a sponsor as we are every single day. So go ahead and call us now if you want to go ahead for Real House Husbands of Panama. So now that we have gone through one line of fear, I mentioned the word cheerleaders. That brings us to the second stage of our sports fear show here today. And the absolute fear, the anger, the literal hate that is spewed that turns into fear, again, when we're dealing with football. And for this takes us to the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
The Minnesota Vikings getting ready to tackle their rivals as the NFL season approaches. But the team, now playing defense after announcing 2 new members of its cheerleading squad, are men. Blaze and Louie earning spots after a rigorous audition process.
I went to a lot of Vikings games with my family, mainly my dad. Was definitely watching cheerleaders thinking like, I wish I could do that. Being that role model for other little kids who don't know that this is an option.
But the inclusion of the 2 men on the 35-person cheer roster has some calling to boycott the team, with replies to the Vikings Instagram post reading, "I'm not a Viking fan no more," and "I just lost all my respect for the Vikings." Across social media, far-right accounts latching on to the backlash, and even a former player blatantly hateful. Antonio Brown, currently wanted by police for attempted murder, which he denies, calling Blaze a homophobic slur. Plenty of others defending the cheerleaders, writing, "They were incredible and deserve their spot as a part of the squad." The Vikings telling NBC News, so far, no fans have canceled their season tickets, and writing, quote, "Male cheerleaders have been part of previous Vikings teams and have long been associated with collegiate and professional cheerleading. We support all of our cheerleaders and are proud of the role they play as ambassadors of the organization." Efforts to reach the 2 male cheerleaders for comment were unsuccessful. Of course, cheerleading men is nothing new. There have been countless parodies like this classic Will Ferrell SNL skit.
Fix it up, break it down now.
Or the iconic teen drama Bring It On.
These are not spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
But even former presidents George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, and Dwight Eisenhower were cheerleaders, and many consider men a vital part of the squad. The Vikings point out a third of NFL teams have male cheerleaders. The league embracing other identities too. The Carolina Panthers, since 2022, have featured the first and only openly transgender cheerleader in the NFL.
Minnesota Vikings fans are threatening to leave the Vikings because, my God, there's men on the field and they're showing us their butts in shorts. My God, what a bunch of homoerotic is going on here all of a sudden. Mike, They're threatening. Now, remember, as the report told us, nobody has canceled their season tickets yet. And the threat to cancel season tickets is absolute bullshit because it takes so long to get a season ticket for a team like Minnesota. You get rid of your season tickets, you'll be back on the list. You'll be in by the year 2317 the next time you get them. Nobody's going to cancel a season ticket. But, Mike, again, here we are in the fear factor. What is so frightening about having guys on a cheerleading squad? Now, before we do this, hang on. Here, and the list is here. The Vikings, the Rams, the Ravens, the Saints, the Eagles, the Titans, the Colts, the 49ers, Chiefs, Bucks, and Panthers all have guys on the sideline. And we haven't heard a peep out of this, but all of a sudden we got some gender-challenged individuals in Minnesota who don't like men on the field, and they're going to cancel their season tickets. Mike, what are they so scared of?
Well, I think it's clear what's going on, Ed. They're trying to get the NFL more woke. This wokeism is taking over, and getting male cheerleaders, homosexual male cheerleaders, probably.
Well, wait a minute now, Mike. You gotta be careful there because we're not really sure.
I don't think so.
They look like they might be homosexuals the way they dance and the way they wriggle, but we're not really sure there, Mike.
I ain't naming my kids Blazing Louie. Are you? God dang it. No, but okay. But in all seriousness, we get away from the redneck stuff. I think you found the niche for the show.
That's part of it.
I think you've got the niche for the show. You actually came up with a theme. Oh my God, I'm the most unorganized person in America. I take ADHD medicine. You have a theme today, and you have video that's freaking brilliant. I have no idea where you even got that clip from. It looked like a Chat GPT report.
No, that was from MSNBC.
Really? It was done well. I learned so much. Who knew that three presidents were cheerleaders? Who knew that three former presidents, like manly men, like Eisenhower, a general, was a cheerleader? And my God, I think I wanted to be a baton twirler when I saw a parade when I was young.
I could see that. I could definitely see
that. It didn't change how I felt about myself. I still loathe myself. And so the whole thing is just it's funny to me because it was almost like the report was a parody. Like that there's people out there that really are upset. Like the first tweet they show is, "I just don't like it." Like the guy couldn't even speak correct English in a tweet. It was hilarious.
Well, that's you can hear it when the tweet comes out. It's and we do this automatically. I guarantee you everybody's done it where they read the tweet and they go, "Oh, I know what that guy sounds like. I don't like it. It's not good for me." And I'm not, and we'll get hammered by people with Southern accents, but you got to admit, that's what people think of right away. Or they think of the macho man going, "I don't want my football touched by men. Wow. There's men in short shorts and tight little shorts. Damn it, get them away. I want to see those women, damn it. Let's objectify a few more women. Come on, let's put them out there. I want to see those boobs and I want to see those butts because those are women, damn it. And we need more women in football cheerleading."
I'll do a couple serious moments today. Okay. One of which is, and I guess spoiler alert, I'm going to drop a little profanity here. It's one thing to say I don't like this or it rocks my tradition. I mean, there are a lot of people in San Antonio, Texas, and different parts of Texas where there's large Hispanic, Latino, Mexican American communities that are furious now that, the quinceañera festivals where the 15-year-old has these huge parties, a 15-year-old girl, it's when she becomes a woman. Well, they're doing quinceañeros for boys now, and they just think this is wrong, and it plays with Mexican tradition and everything that the quinceañera is about over the years. It's like, okay, whatever. If you don't want to change with the times, that's fine. But when a guy like Antonio Brown comes out and uses a gay slur,
a suspected murderer.
Fuck you, Antonio Brown. You're a bigot. You're a punk, and you don't stand for anybody in society. So shut up. I mean, I just can't deal with people like that take it to that level. And we do have a lot of friends out there. I don't have gay friends. I don't have black friends. I have people in my life, a lot of friends, some of which are gay. some of which are black, some of which are white, some of which are Native American. Like, who freaking cares? If we haven't gotten past this stuff, like people always go to me, hey, doesn't it bother you when you see two guys holding hands or they're kissing? I'm like, I don't want anybody kissing. Like, I don't want a guy and a girl making out in front of me. That's for their private living room. It's one thing to give someone a peck. I don't care if someone's holding hands, showing a public affection. If they love the person, screw them. I just think that it's like, grow up. We got to get past this.
Well, that's just it. We haven't gotten past it. And we've talked about a number of things on this show before that people have not gotten past. But this is one where all of a sudden this creates an outrage from certain people. And let's again be honest here. The media jumps on this because it has the cachet of being nothing more than clickbait. Because you have ESPN, you have Fox, who are all in bed with the National Football League and want to make sure they protect the badge at any cost whatsoever because they're all making money. And they'll make a big deal out of this. And you'll get them joke about it. And they'll talk about it with their former players who are on the set. And they'll basically denigrate it. And some of them will go, hey, I'm okay with it. But you're not. That's the problem. You have a facet of this country, and probably, Mike, in Minnesota, this might be, I don't know, 100 people maybe. There could be millions of fans of the Vikings, and maybe 100, maybe 50 of them have come out and put something out on social media to talk about how I'm going to get rid of my season tickets now because you've got males, and you know what the words are that they're going to use. You've got them on the cheerleading squad, so I'm going to cancel my tickets. Good. Cancel them. Walk away.
You know what?
We need to get rid of the flotsam and jetsam and the nonsense in this country. And these are the people right here who are keeping us from becoming evolutionary sound again. I mean, get rid of them.
I'm gonna market Blaze and Louie T-shirts, and I guarantee you those things will sell out.
I'll bet you they will. But
it's crazy. And on a lesser level, a lot of the cheerleaders in America, whether you're, it's put through people through college, but two, for many people, it's a part-time job. They don't pay enough for the two little dance numbers, but it's money. And it's not like the NBA when they announced 20 years ago or whatever that two women officials were going to enter the league, one of which I think is still there, the other which was awful, and she went back to lower level basketball. But the bottom line was it was a big deal. And these guys, I don't think, it doesn't sound like if Carolina's got a transgender cheerleader, they're not breaking some LGBTQ barrier that needs to be, let them do their jobs.
And
Blaze and Louie are probably more, Blaze and Louie are probably more into the team than you freaking Nordic Dane Slayers. Shut up.
I didn't know there was a transgender cheerleader on the Carolina Panthers until I saw the report. You know why? Because it's not important to me, because I really don't care.
Yeah, good for her.
It's this whole point about this that people get all upset and crazy about this. And here's the other thing, too. They're talking, and if you listen to the report from MSNBC, George Bush, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, and Dwight Eisenhower were all cheerleaders. So I guess they're not really manly men. We have to go back. And again, Mike, this is all part of the MAGA nonsense in this country right now. It's all part of the woke attack because they don't fit what they want as males. You guys are out there. You look like a bunch of fairies is what they're going to say in private conversation. And they'll say that you're too woke. It's the MAGA attack on America with these people. They don't want to go out and admit that Bush and Reagan were also cheerleaders, so these guys were out on the field doing the same thing, although I doubt they were wearing gold lame pants, but they were cheerleaders too. But they don't go back and look at that because we're all afraid that you're going to... And here's another thing too. I heard Jay Feely, who used to be a kicker for the Chicago Bears, and Feely was on one of these ridiculous right-wing platforms, and he tried to make this all about, we're not teaching our boys how to be men. We need to teach our boys how to be real men, and we need to teach them how to take care of their families. They immediately shovel that into this nonsense because they have to find a way to justify it. And there is no way to justify it. It's just people having fun, but they make it about the macho nonsense MAGA bullshit. And that's where this all lands.
Why are place kickers always the guys trying to be more manly because everybody's
It's
telling them they're
true.
not men on the field. Like Harrison Butker of Kansas City, Jay Feely. Like Jay Feely a quarterback or a place kicker?
I don't know.
I can't.
I think he was, maybe he was a
Either way,
quarterback. I'm
either
sorry,
way,
my bad.
he was a backup quarterback,
He
so it
was
doesn't matter. But
about as effective a quarterback. He was. Let's put it this way: as a quarterback, he was a great place kicker. So there you go.
I'll tell you what, he's
My
not
bad.
he's not as good at being a quarterback as Blaze and Louie are at their jobs. They're probably going to be more into the Vikings than anybody. But I can't see Reagan kind of going to Nancy one day like, well, Nancy, I'm gonna go get my pom poms. I mean, you come on. It is funny. This is such low hanging fruit for like the Clay Travises, the Portnoys, the Tate Brothers audience out there, all the Manosphere idiots. They're gonna love this. I mean, I just can't. Hey, real quick. I always love it, and I always love it getting into arguments with evangelicals or anybody for that matter that somehow suggests that uh, homosexuality, bisexuality, it's all a choice, and that God made you a heterosexual, and you just, and I'm sure there's like very infinitesimal percentages of people that make up sexual assaults. There's probably a very small percentage that actually did choose that lifestyle. 99% don't. I guarantee you. And you know why, Ed? Because, and this is why I always say, like people say, oh, what if your son came out gay? I'd be a little heartbroken. Not because I want him to be the macho guy and give me a biological son tomorrow. Not all that. No, because he would be discriminated against.
Yes.
He would be
Yes.
bullied.
He would be
treated
hammered by
like
a
dirt.
portion
And
of
I'd
society.
become even a more staunch supporter of gay rights and LGBTQ rights. But I would be sick to my stomach that someone would look at him as a smaller person because of that. And I would have to get over that and say, screw it. Now I'm going to double down on my support. That's the only reason. Who would choose to be gay? Whoops, sorry.
No, that's okay. It when you get into this conversation, it always amazes me how there are those people out there, and this happens, we've seen this happen many times, who get involved in these sociological issues. They have daughters, yet they hammer away at women's rights and they hammer away at all the things that women can decide, but they have daughters. So they're basically saying, hey, don't worry about it. My kid's not going to be bothered by this. Yes, she will. It's the same thing as your son. Yes, he will. Everybody gets bothered by this with the bullying that's out there. And again, that's another word too, because the minute you bring bullying into it, you'll have a facet of society who goes, oh, listen to these two guys now, these old guys. They're talking about all this woke stuff. Nobody bullies anybody. It's just the way life is. Get life on, go ahead, strap on the pants and get out there and be a man, damn it. Be a woman, damn it. Whatever it is. Here's what I hope comes out of this, and I know we had to talk about this.
Yeah.
But let me drop a line here to like the local media, the stations in the Twin Cities. Don't cover this story. Don't. You're dealing with maybe 5 or 10 or maybe 50 people who are out there saying they're going to cancel their season tickets, who are out there saying that this is all wrong, who are out there pushing away this male nonsense. Don't cover the story. Don't you have something better to do? Isn't there something a little more journalistically correct you can do than talk about what a couple of clown boys are saying on social media? I mean, there's another problem, Mike.
Not only that. Let's boil this down to the two individuals. They don't need to be targeted. They don't need people, name calling them. They don't need to be, their social media accounts found out and just plastered with ugly stuff. It's two guys, irrespective of whether we don't even know what their sexuality is.
And I don't care.
Who knows? Who cares? So just let them do their jobs. You know how many ridiculous dance moves I do in my house every day? I mean, I can't do it professionally or I would.
Dude, you got to roll video on that. You could go viral with that.
You would have laughed. One day, I in 2012, I went up to the front desk of the Marriott during the Super Bowl between the Ravens and the 49ers. It was in New Orleans. And and they wanted to know where I was from, and I said, "Oh, you guys don't know." Like, and there was all these women behind the front desk, and they're from New Orleans. They were mostly women, and I go, "Guys, I'm a backup dancer for Beyonce, who was performing that year." And they go, "Oh, yeah, right." I go, "Oh, you don't think so, huh?" And then I go, "If you like it, put a ring on it. If you like," oh my God, I had them rolling behind the counter. But anyway,
you're looking for the viral video here, man. You just found it. You got to taste these things.
We got to grow up, man. If that's a story in America that we have 2 male cheerleaders, oh my God!
And it's not even a big deal in the NFL.
Who's a minute? Michelle Tafoya, the conservative activist who used to be a sports journalism broadcaster on Monday Night Football. She's become she's a conservative pundit now. She's got her own podcast. I went on it. She's from Minnesota. I'm going to ask her. I'm going to slide into her DMs and ask her how she feels about this. Could be interesting.
It could be interesting, but it could also be very revelatory as well to discuss what these people are thinking of, because stop covering this nonsense. We talk about it here because it's become a national issue. It's plugged all over the national networks. Even the national news networks have covered it and talked about it, even if it is for only 20 or 30 seconds. It's nonsense. Get away from this. Let these people live their lives. And be a little bit more secure in your own masculinity, guys. I tend to think that's part of the problems.
It's exactly that. It's like why the kickers are it's why the most obscure players are the people that want to be part of the manosphere, because it gives them some kind of testosterone cred. You know what I say to all them, Ed? Go get some uterus.
Great idea, Mike. I'm going to have T-shirts made with just that on it. Hey, go get some
Have some uterus. Have some uterus.
On to fear, another aspect of fear when it comes down to sports. This is kind of old, but it's for whatever reason, it's becoming new again. There was a time, those of you youngins in the audience who may not remember, when a nationally celebrated magazine, it was made of paper. You had to actually open it up and you could read what was inside, and you could look at the real pretty pictures in it as well. When a magazine came out with a swimsuit issue every year, a magazine that covered sports, and they had an issue just with women in the swimsuit issue, and it wasn't anything about sports whatsoever. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more, had nothing to do with sports. But then all of a sudden there was the fear. Oh my God, what are you doing? You're objectifying women. This is a bad thing. This is not sports. This is women in swimsuits. This is sex. Yes, it is. Don't fear it. Sex sells. And as a matter of fact, when it comes down to Sports Illustrated right now, this is the 2025, just 2 of the covers. Salma Hayek there, who is now Salma Hayek Pinot, I guess that's her married name, and Olivia Munn. For those of you watching on the YouTube channel, you can see them. This is a sports publication which actually is not nearly as popular as it once was. Sports Illustrated is still trying to hang on by its thumbnails, and they still have the swimsuit issue. It's not about sports at all. It's about sex. Mike, there's the next thing. When it comes down, and you can correlate this to cheerleaders. Why are the cheerleaders there? Sex. That's if it wasn't about sex, they'd be in long pants and sweatpants and sweatshirts. They're not. They're in short shorts. They show their breasts. Oh my God, they're showing breasts. It is about sex. But Mike, again, we're at this. I caught this. The swimsuit issue came out earlier this year. And it's again part of some social media campaigns where people are going, this is a terrible use of sport. This is not sports. This is objectifying women. It's a pretty girl. What's the big deal?
It is objectifying women, but it's sort of under the banner of it was grandfathered in years ago. I don't know, whether it's softcore porn or not. You can choose.
It probably is.
You could choose to not order it. You could choose not to order it. I mean, but we've come so. It's funny. What's sad about the Sports Illustrated thing, and on our continuing quest to talk about journalism and how it's almost dead, is Yeah, I wrote a piece for Sports Illustrated. I was going to write a big one. Then they told me to hold off because um, they had some new owner that was going to buy in, and it was some hedge fund manager, and and basically
Usually
the
is
only
these
thing
days.
left at Sports Illustrated are these sports blogs, these little fan blogs, and the swimsuit issue. That's all they got left. It's
Pretty much.
sad. It used to be the Bible of sports journalism, but
But I
that's
guess
another story.
my point is here, let's not fear the swimsuit issue. It is what it is.
No, no, and
It's
plus
it's pretty
we've
girls
gotten
in swimsuits, and okay,
yeah. Didn't
it is what it
ESPN
is.
magazine? ESPN magazine had the body issue. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And they had like a trans person in the swimsuit issue. And they had guys in the swimsuit issue, like Bryce Harper was almost naked or something in one of the
Well,
issues.
no, wasn't there one time when they did basically use body paint and the models were indeed naked, but it was covered by the body paint?
Yeah. And the one time that nobody laughed at me at an ESPN magazine meeting when I got in there was a woman named Marie Donovan. She was like really smart. She was an executive. And I went up to her and I said, if we really want to push this envelope on the body issue, I'd like to volunteer for the dad bod issue. And she didn't even
Oh,
laugh.
Christ.
And I knew then that we were in trouble because the dad bod issue would sell.
You and Luka Doncic, you can all put your
Yeah.
dad bods up there, man.
Yeah,
Now
me
wait a
and
minute.
Luka
That's
Doncic.
not a bad idea though in the first
Yeah.
place. Because if we're going to
Yeah.
talk about, and I know there's people who are angry about the swimsuit issue. I know there are those who say, wait a minute, Ed, they are objectifying women, whatever you want to use. They're making fun of them. They're getting paid for it, I guess. But whatever it is, I understand, and I'm not going to downgrade how you feel. Let's go ahead and have the fat guy sports fan issue. I mean, let's put guys out there who are 372 pounds. Let's put a bag of Doritos on their chest. Let's give them a bottle of Bud Light or Michelob Ultra, and let's put them out there. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll bet you
Alex,
it would sell out.
No, it's like Alex Jones could go on. I mean, you could think of all the
God, no, that's
people that need to mix in a salad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not scared of the swimsuit. There's no fear of me getting the swimsuit issue.
But
given that
let me back up on the other side, though, Mike. Okay, to make sure that we hit both ends of this argument, should we not have a swimsuit issue? I mean, again, as I point out, there are those people who would say all you're doing is you're looking at women's bodies, you're not paying attention to who they are or what they are, and you're making $1 off women's bodies. In 2025, have we reached the point where there should be no more swimsuit issue? I mean, this is a debate that's gone on for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever went out with a model, Ed, and luckily I have, because I went out with one in New York. She was in the Ford modeling agency. I shouldn't mention her name here, but I will. No, I won't. I won't embarrass her. But she at any rate,
because
I went
then
out
she's
with her
going to
for
be
a while.
hounded by
She was
people who are going to go.
She was
they're
like,
going to put up a
she was
picture of you. They'll take a picture of you from the show and they'll show it to her and they go, "You dated this?"
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had no business, but she was so insecure about this little mole on her back, and I was like, Elizabeth. Oh shoot, that was her name. You're stunning. Why would you even worry about it? And so, but the bottom line is this: that's a career for a lot of women. Modeling is a career. It's part of it's why we buy Versace. It's why we buy all the brands that we buy. Modeling is a thing now. We hopefully we have more healthier models now that aren't there, and they shouldn't be on those specials. Ginny, eat something. I mean, maybe there's less anorexia going around, and maybe there's more full-bodied models that look like real people. But either way, it's modeling. Who cares? I don't see.
This is this whole ridiculous.
We want to have if we want to have an argument about like Pornhub, and these are the things that shouldn't be on Pornhub. Yes, okay. They're like, children, anybody that looks like they might be under 18, take them off. Anybody that's choking,
obvious.
anybody that's choking somebody. No, that's not how real relationships work, So that kind of stuff, yeah, but swimsuit issue, no, who cares?
It's swimsuits. That's all it is. Look, all of a sudden we're going to start banging into the whole Sydney Sweeney argument that's going on in America right now, which is the stupidest line of bullshit I have heard in a long time.
Like, as you know, as liberals, and I guess I count myself a liberal in this country. As liberals, you know, if we've learned anything the last couple years, we probably need to pick our arguments and our fights a little more wisely from now on. Because if everything, it's like if everything is racist, nothing is racist. That's what the other side thinks, and then they have a permission to get really ugly. We need to like pick our fights more wisely.
Stop getting all upset about women who are actively and willingly appearing in an issue that looks at them in swimsuits, and whether or not there's guys out there on the cheerleading field. Stop worrying about this absolute nonsense. I mean, we're doing it here because that's what we do. We do entertainment here. That's part of what we do. We talk about these things. But we didn't make this up and we didn't start this. It's all out there and it has to come out. And one time we talk about it, that's it. We blow it off. But this is a show where you're allowed to talk about things like this. National news networks? Stop. Come on. There's local news networks. There's more important stuff to do than this. And you really should be paying more attention. Maybe if you paid more attention to the more important stuff that's in the local issues and the national issues, we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in right now. There you go. Okay. Outside of the fear...
I concur with all that, and you just gave yourself the end of a soundbite that was perfect.
Thank you. It is one of the things that I do know how to do very well when it comes down to shows. Outside of the fear factor, there is something else that we do need to talk about this week because I found it to be rather ridiculously hysterical in so many ways. The WNBA is doing everything they can to make sure that their players are being seen as real basketball players, which is fine because they are. These are outstanding female athletes. They are without question talented basketball athletes. They are professionals. They deserve all the accolades they get. But sometimes it seems to me as if they're sort of going a little too far in all this, and it comes down to a fight between the Connecticut Sun and the Chicago Sky.
Westbeld. Rivers climbs the ladder. Oh no, it's getting feisty. Hartley and Allen get into it. Oh my goodness. Sky and Sun not getting along despite the fact they share the same real estate up in the air. Ooh. Ariel Atkins is livid, barking to the Connecticut bench. Tyler Marsh, the security team of Chicago, has to break up the scrum. Let's go. Oh my, so this all began with Allen and Hartley.
Now, I'm going to get to that in just a second and something in it. But if you want to see that highlight, you can't get it from the WNBA because if you go on YouTube and you look for the highlights from the game, that's cut out. They don't show it because what they're trying to do is protect the brand, obviously. But the fact that we have this, it's not even a fight, Mike. I mean, come on. There's some contact down underneath the basket. Somebody pushes, somebody shoves. And then we have a play-by-play announcer going, oh, things are getting feisty here. Come on, stop with the incredible overdone hype. Nothing's getting feisty here. It's basketball.
Feel like everybody. I feel these clips you're putting on are like done by, like The Onion or SNL.
Yes.
Like the guy's line was actually the sun and the sky who share the same atmosphere under the like what
in the air. I mean, they share the same space in the air.
In the air, like you can't make these can't make these ridiculous things up, and these guys get paid for it. It's hilarious. I guess I would say this: one, the WNBA is much more physical than people realize.
Yes.
Two, shocker, Angel Reese was not in the game and was not involved in the fight. She can mess with a lot of people. She's a very strong young woman. And three, that's not a fight. A fight is when someone punches somebody in the face. It's like a baseball fight where everybody's pushing each other and jumping. A fight is when a fight is when someone gets popped in the face. Let's be honest.
That was basketball.
That's a fight.
See, that's part of
Yeah.
it because it's women's basketball versus men's basketball. And I still think what they're trying to do is soft pedal women's basketball because, hey, these are ladies playing the game. I really believe that, and that's wrong. Treat it like a game. It's a game. Treat the men's game and the women's game exactly the same in everything that goes on.
No, I
Stop
always
trying
said
to make this about a women's game. It's not feisty, and nobody's up in the air. And that brings a second thing here. I don't know who the color announcer was for that. I did everything I could, Mike, to try and research and find out who this team was, who the play-by-play and the color announcer was. I don't know them by voice. So therefore, I'm not going to go ahead and say that it could have been this person or it could have been that person. But here's the color announcer after this. Let's go. What is that nonsense?
Yeah,
she's out there. She wants more fights. She wants more physical contact. She wants this thing to turn into a brawl on the court. What is this all of a sudden? If the WNBA is trying to get some legitimacy to yourself, which you are, which you're getting with great play, stop bringing these idiots in here. And it's probably a former player who's out there pushing this along to say, let's go. Come on.
Yeah,
let's get in there. Let's go ahead and drop a couple of fights. What? Bullshit.
Wait a minute, Ed. Wait a minute. Isn't that a double standard on your part? I mean, if someone were doing the hockey game, it's like, let's play the feud. Oh, they're going at it. Now let's play the feud. Oh my God.
Doesn't happen as often as you think, Mike.
Ty Domi has hit him 5 times in the face.
Wait a minute. Doesn't happen as often as you think. I get it, and thanks for asking that question. And the second thing is, fighting is an integral part of hockey, and I know we could get into a whole nother line like this. Fighting becomes one of those moments which is after the game, or after the play. It's expected. It's not expected to go punch each other in the NBA or the WNBA.
Yeah,
in hockey, because
if you're sticking up for your team, if you're sticking up for your teammate, you're sticking up for your teammate. That's what hockey is. You stick up for your teammate. You stick up for your teammate, whether it's the WNBA or the NHL.
But what I'm pointing out is there's physical play under the basket. There's a shove. It all gets over with. 3 players, by the way, got ejected for that because they were deemed to be fighting or potentially fighting. But for the color announcer, who is obviously paid by the WNBA because that's a WNBA broadcast, and it doesn't make a difference.
Let's go.
Whether it's ESPN or anybody else, the money still gets funneled one way or another between the league and the network. She's going, let's go. Let's go where? Let's go what? You want them to get out there and fight? You want them to be clowns and brutal idiots, and you want them to be just like every other nonsense player out there who wants to go ahead and start a fight? I'm not going to use the word. You know where I was going, but I'm not going to use that word. But that's just ridiculous.
Use it. Use it.
No, I'm not going to use the word.
Wait, what word were you going to use? I don't know what word you were going to use.
Sure you do.
What does it start? What letter does it start with?
Starts with a T and it ends with an S. And it rhymes with thugs. And it rhymes with thug. Yes.
Yeah, thugs is, I mean, thug, unless you're using both races, thugs is like a dog whistle for a black person.
Without question.
Yeah. So I would say this. Look, contact is part of contact. But yeah, her saying, let's go, if you're going to get into it, I would have went like, it's on like Donkey Kong. Oh, baby. Like I would have hyped it up. But you're right. It's sort of encouraging, the encouragement of violence amongst women and amongst men. Like, okay, yeah, enough already. Grow up.
What I'm saying is, Mike, the WNBA doesn't need it. They have finesse. They have excellent players. They have strength. They have really good plays, really good shooters, professional players. It's unnecessary to do that. What I think we need to do, Mike, is stop trying to create a difference between the NBA and the WNBA. It is professional basketball, and it should be treated the same for both sides.
Well, yeah, you said, I thought you made a great point when you noticed that the WNBA didn't use the video of that on there. Why? Like, it's a scrum. It happens. It's why
because
I used to get mad. Why do you think people are coming in record numbers to the WNBA now? Just because a white girl can shoot from the parking lot? No, because black girls are trying to defend her because they're upset. Oh, the racial animus is ugly, but there's also a quality of this league has gotten so competitive, and there's so many dramas every night that people are watching, and the personalities are part of it. And it's like Lauren Jackson for the Seattle Storm used to get into it with Lisa Leslie of the Sparks. And at one point in the Olympics, literally in 2000, Lauren Jackson pulled out Lisa Leslie's hair extension during an exhibition game, and it was like this huge deal. And there was this, and the WNBA ran away from this. I'm like, wait a minute, you got a rivalry right here. If you had sold that, or if a WNBA player is overweight, she comes to camp overweight, it shouldn't be taboo to say, you know what, so and so needs to lose 20 pounds.
Right, but the minute you say that, you're anti-female.
Right, and it's sort of like that's part of your job to keep yourself in shape. If we're not gonna, if you're not gonna list weights or anything like that, like, are you really being a professional sports league?
I mean, look, we made fun of it at one time because you remember too when Charles Barkley didn't exactly have an athletic body. He was nicknamed the Round Mound of Rebound. I mean, everybody talked about him being fat. And they still talk about players in the league being fat, being over. Look, Luka Doncic has taken the same thing when they try to cover it up and go, oh, the guy's got a dad bod. No, he doesn't. He's fat. He's overweight for a professional basketball player, and he needs to lose some weight. So you should be able to say it about both. Male, female makes no difference. Make the game the same. It is the same game. It is basketball. These are professional players. And it's ridiculous to have a former player, if that was a former player on that play-by-play, to basically go ahead and egg it on to be a fight, because that's exactly what she was doing by saying, let's go, don't tell me anything else.
And that's and anybody who's been in a
not
real
what the league needs.
Yeah, and anybody that's seen a real NBA fight, and I've been at a few, you're one punch from like ending someone's career, or you're one, something awful can happen that could just decimate, and it's not part of the game. I'm all for standing up for your teammate, but it's one thing to be physical, it's another thing to be dirty, and you don't want to go there. It's just a bad precedent for anybody. I'll say this though, I will give you Charles Barkley's new nickname, the Round Mound of Pronoun. You like it?
Is that a thing? Really?
I stole it from a guy I used to work with named, believe it or not, Don Drysdale. He wasn't the pitcher. In fact, he wrote a beautiful obituary when Don Drysdale died. He said, we shared the same name, and Double D we called him. He was a pretty portly guy. I think he's lost weight since. He looks great now. But he had a great line in his column. He said, Don Drysdale, and he goes, he owned the plate. I cleaned it.
Hey, by the way, anyway, I just want to point out what you said there about physical play in basketball and how it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, many people in our audience are going to be too young to remember this, but you really got to go back and look at it, what happens on a basketball court. Go Google the names Rudy Tomjanovich and Kermit Washington and see what happened there. Kermit Washington hit Rudy Tomjanovich, who was coming at him with a full-fledged straight arm punch, and destroyed Tomjanovich's career and his life. And that happened on the court, which changed a lot of ways that people looked at physical contact on a basketball court. But to have it here and egg it on again and egg on any kind of violence, it's unnecessary. It takes away from the game.
Yeah. Well, Rudy T did go on to win 2 championships with the Rockets, became a very good coach. But you're right, it ruined it. You're right. At the time, he had facial reconstruction. I think there's a documentary and a book. I think Kermit Washington wrote a book about it. Kermit Washington, by the way, is one of the nicest people you've ever met in your life. And at that moment, it wasn't as if Tomjanovich was the aggressor. He was coming in to break up the fight. Kermit Washington didn't know that in the chaos. He just saw someone coming at him. And so just think of someone running at you while you're, full extension punch, and it was over. And it was, and so to this day, that's probably the most violent episode in the NBA. But you're right. It's just over the top. And get over it.
We are over it. We have taken fear. We have gone after fear today on the fastest show in sports, and we have conquered it. Damn it, we fear nothing.
Can I add one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
And I don't know if this is a clip that you can put up or not, but it did ring something true. The Taylor Swift thing is interesting to me because one thing I've learned about her is she went out of her way when she was a white country star for a long time, the white country pop star. And all of a sudden she alienated part of her fan base because she saw what was going on in America and she couldn't take anymore. Not only did she like go out of her way to make the people dancing behind her much more diverse. It looked a lot more like America than you have black, white, Puerto Rican, like Latinas. It just, not only that, but she spoke out about some things that she thought was wrong. And I love people that get behind causes and things that I think, I think are right. Whether it's the right side of history or not, we'll find out. But one of the things that I believe is on the right side of history is I had a guy years ago. I talked to him, and his name was Phil St. John. And I go, why did you start this movement, American and concerned parents as American Indians? Why did you start this movement? And he goes, I took my son, and Phil St. John's a native Sioux from Minnesota. He goes, I took my son to a high school basketball game in Minnesota, and they were the Northwest Indians, and their mascot was this white guy in war paint. And he came around and just started doing the whoa, 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 and the chop. And my 5-year-old looks at me and he goes, Daddy, isn't that what we do at powwow? And he starts crying. And I realized at that moment, I just killed his self-esteem. So Phil St. John, put on these thoughtful presentations, not you're a racist because you call me a chief or an Indian. No, he put on these thoughtful presentations. He got 47 of 49 high schools in the 90s now, not in the 2000s, in the 90s, to change their mascot just because the schools were like, yeah, you're right. You're the only living people we actually caricature and think are our mascots. Maybe we need to get away from that. If Taylor Swift, it really had a backbone, she'd tell the Kansas City Chiefs to get away with the native themes, and it's over. The tomahawk chop needs to go.
I don't think she's going to go
the war
there.
drum, the war
happen.
drum. It will change. It might not be her, but
eventually,
I guarantee you it. I guarantee you it'll change.
She's dating
but
one of
the
their
fact
star
that she doesn't have the backbone to actually have some of her Native American brothers and sisters that go to her concerts, she doesn't have their backbone. Like to me, if you're in for these issues, you should be all in, not just ones that are convenient for you.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of convenience. I think it's a matter of, look, she's dating one of their star players right now. You can't go after the franchise.
So screw
Maybe
that.
She will
so
one
why
day.
doesn't
Maybe
Mahomes? So why doesn't Mahomes, Mr. Black Lives Matter, say anything?
You're bringing
why
up
doesn't he say anything?
I'm
all about social
subject.
conscience and how the law enforcement treats African American society. Why don't and if Black Lives Matter, shouldn't Red Lives Matter too? These people are good. These people are gutless.
I'm not going to say that it's a wrong thing to do. I mean, you're opening up another entirely different discussion here, which I think we should get into. I think it's a fair point. We're just out of time today. But you're right. There is the whole idea of that. But then again, there are people, and I got to tell you, when we're going down this road, I still know people, for instance, at Florida State with the Seminoles, who will say that we're never going to change the Seminoles mascot ever because the Seminole people of Florida agree with it. We have the full rights, and we have the full agreement. They don't have part
agree
of the
with
Seminole Council there that said, okay, go ahead.
The tribal leaders agree with it. The Oklahoma Seminoles, the original Seminoles, have written a proclamation against it.
You're correct.
They don't want a white kid throwing a spear in the ground. The only reason the Florida Seminoles, actual Seminole Indians, still are okay with it is because Florida State gives them tons of money every year.
Yeah.
And so
exactly
if you want to market it, fine. I don't care. Look, I don't care if there's teams there are Native Americans who are okay with the old Washington football team as their team mascot. That to me is like, okay, if Jay-Z wants to use the N-word, if he wants to flip the script and whatever, fine. But that's not the majority of Native Americans.
Well, I actually did a commentary on this on the Hardline, which I also have on YouTube as well. And I had talked about that when the Washington Commanders and Redskins issue came up again recently, where I said, okay, great. I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead, Katie by the door, let's call them the New York Jews. How about that?
Right.
You know,
Right. The Hasidics, and you have a guy named Ira as their mascot, and he's got the Dead Sea Scrolls in one hand and the Torah in the other, and he's just running around in his ringlets, yelling at the top of his lung, "Hail to the Jews! Hail
yeah,
Israel!"
and if for Miami, I even said at this point, I'll have to get it, but then I'll
Yeah.
have to send it to you. If people want to go ahead and look for it on YouTube, look under the hard line, and you'll find it.
Just,
but I made the whole thing with Miami. I said, let's call them the Miami Boat People.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and do this.
There's one
the Dallas
feud,
Rednecks.
Exactly. The San Antonio Latinos. Like, I just get to the point where it's sort of like, and there's only a few things that I've actually studied. And I read this thing. The American Psychological Association does this long thing on how not only are they bad for the self-esteem of Native American kids who might want to grow up to be lawyers and educators instead of your mascot, and they don't want to be unpeopled as this thing from the past that was almost eradicated in 2 centuries ago. No, they don't. But it's also bad for our kids, white kids, black kids, because it makes you see Native kids, Native people, as not a living thing in this day, but something from the Dark Ages.
Got to tell you, in the last couple of years, I have started watching a lot of the Western documentaries and a lot of things about America. And Ken Burns has done some brilliant jobs on it, brilliant documentaries on it as well, and others. But and Kevin Costner has got something called The West, which does kind of cover some of this, but he still doesn't get too deep into it. But when you start to look at, and again, we're off on a tangent here, which I think we should devote a show to one of these days, is when you look at it, the tremendous amount of hate and violence and subjugation that the Native American was put through for so many years is appalling, which is why every time I hear people say things about how great America is, I want to say, yeah, America's pretty great, but guess what? We got to back up a little bit every now and then, and we have to realize we made a lot of mistakes. We screwed up a lot along the way, and we've still got to make some, I don't want to say reparations, but maybe that's not even a bad word in itself. We have to go back and at least identify that, yeah, we screwed up. Now, if we have to do something in this age, let's go ahead and at least try and make it right in some way.
My favorite T-shirt of mine is sent to me by the Crow people of Montana after I came out against Washington's name. And I don't even, by the way, I don't use Washington's name because it is a dictionary defined racial slur. I don't want to be too woke for you, Ed, but I'm not going to ever use it on this show. You won't see it coming out of my mouth. But I basically, they sent me a shirt and it said, and it's got a picture of Geronimo and his warriors, and it says Homeland Security, fighting illegal immigration since 1492.
Wow. I like that. We'll have to do that. All right, go ahead. Don't forget, we will do this one day because Mike brings up a great point. You want to catch us, don't forget the YouTube channel, The Fastest Show in Sports. You can see all the episodes. You can see all the specials there as well. Please get to us on the audio podcast as well. You'll find us specifically housed on Podbean, but we are all across the spectrum. Wherever you go to get your favorite podcast from, just look for The Fastest Show in Sports, and we are there. You can email us as well at fastestshowinsports@gmail.com, and you can go ahead and drop something in there as well. We'll do this again next week. Mr. Wise, always a pleasure, my friend. Go get scared by a movie, will you? Go watch the Alien movie again, and you'll be...
There's so many good horror movies. My wife doesn't like horror. That's the problem.
We're in the same boat. It's like there's a current series out called Wednesday, which is the Addams Family.
Oh, that's the Addams Family on Netflix. That's pretty tame, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still too gory. It's still kind of horror, and she won't do it. There's a new series out for Alien called Alien Earth, which is on FX, I believe, and is also available on Hulu. I can't wait to see it. She looked at me last night and said, nope, not going to do it.
Don't want to. Okay. Yeah, you want fear? You want fear, Ed? I was Lurch in a school children's play about 2 years ago for the, and I got some. I'll give you that video. You put it up once. That'll scare you.
Well, but wait a minute. With your follically challenged issues here, wouldn't you be better as Uncle Fester?
Yeah, but they gave me like a big wig. They put makeup on me. I mean, I was a full-on actor. I said a lot of grunting, but I was a full-on actor for.
Oh, dude, no. I want to see you as Uncle Fester. If I was casting a movie,
yeah, Uncle Fester would be better.
Uncle Fester's got a lot more character in it than just Lurch, because Lurch's big line was always, "Oh God, I'm going back. Oh, God. What did he say when he answered the door at the Addams Family? Hello.
You rang.
You rang. Exactly. Couldn't even remember it all. Or then, I tell you what, you go as Uncle Fester, I'll go as Cousin It. We'll make it all clear. There you go. Make that simple, and here's the casting. He's Mike Wise. I'm Ed Berliner. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Until next time on the fastest show in sports, see ya!
That's all, folks.